A New York City college sparking outrage after making it known that they don't want police using their campus bathrooms, all in an effort to keep the cops out of sight from the students. This, as a petition, is in the works by Brooklyn College students to ban the police from the campus altogether. Some students saying to the New York Post, quote, "We do not want the New York City Police Department on campus in any respect, even if it's just to take breaks and use the bathroom. Students don't feel comfortable around cops. It makes safe spaces feel not so safe. Your first instinct is to be scared." Here to weigh in on this unusual story is the president of the New York City Police Department Sergeants Benevolent Association, Ed Mullins. Ed, good morning.
Good morning.
So the first inclination of some of these students when they see a police officer is to be scared.
But that's only on campus. It's not in their travels to and from school. It's not in the neighborhoods to which they live, and it's not when they call 911. So there's clearly a little bit of an agenda going on.
But apparently, according to these articles that have been written so far, when they see a police officer, some of these students at Brooklyn College, they see the police officer, and rather than somebody there to protect them, it triggers something bad inside where they're afraid.
I personally don't believe that. I just think that what we have is students looking to make a name for themselves, so to speak, to create an issue. Ultimately, I blame the administration of Brooklyn College. There's a question of right and wrong here. I think it's pretty clear across the country that the police are not the enemy. They are basically the good guy. And what's occurring now is just total lunacy, where the lunatics are running the asylum all over again.
There was one police officer who was quoted in the New York Post article, said, quote, "That protester culture is warping their effing minds."
Well, I think what we're seeing is over the past 8 years that we have a culture of protest. We have an anti-police sentiment that's going across the country. We have police officers that are being assassinated. And this all stems from weak leadership, weak politicians that help foster this environment. Every little thing that occurs now is about political correctness. And somewhere along the line, you have to push back and say, enough. This is how we live in this country. Without law enforcement and law and order, we have total chaos. And ultimately, without the police, you wouldn't even be able to go to school.
It's interesting. Apparently, the student body president for Brooklyn College said that one of the reasons she did not like the police was the fact that apparently there was an undercover New York City Police Department counterterrorism investigation. And they wound up arresting two women who were trying to pull off an ISIS-inspired plot to blow up propane tanks in New York City.
That statement alone should discredit this whole issue and the fact that we have an individual that feels uncomfortable over that incident, which basically tells me you'd rather sit with people involved in terrorism in your classroom than to see police officers walking about your campus and protecting and keeping a safe campus. We see active shooters, we see acts of terrorism all over the country, and who's responding to it are police officers, and those things are happening on schools.
Absolutely. You told one of our producers that maybe these students who don't want the cops on campus should take a year abroad. Go abroad, study abroad instead of here in Brooklyn.
I think they should, to be quite honest with you. Is if you go to some foreign countries where police officers hold the title of police officers, they certainly don't uphold law and order. And in many ways, there are countries where police officers they beat people, they're corrupt, they don't protect you, and valid reasons to be afraid of the police. Right. So if you feel that way here, that's even a bigger problem because that just does not happen.
Ed, you've come on this program for a couple of years. I think this story completely insults you.
I think it insults law enforcement across the country, and the silent majority in this country, and I've come to learn this over the years, they do support the police. When you travel this country and you talk to people who are hardworking people, and even the poor people in the city of New York, they want the police in their communities, and they're people of color. They're people of all ethnicities, and they really do want the police there. But politicians are playing, and leadership in schools like this are playing to a small group of people because they don't want to be accused of not being politically correct. And somewhere along the line, you have to stand for what you believe in, and they either believe in this nonsense or they're just too weak to address it.
We know where you stand. Ed Mullins, thank you very much.